סייעתא דשמיא תוספות דיבור אמרתכם וזו באה בפני עצמה ומעידה. The MS is, after I finished Tosfot, I did Tosfot maybe 5 times, and I didn't see any questions. And when I jumped into it, then I realized how come I didn't learn Tosfot. I missed like basic stuff. וזו בא בפני עצמה ומעידה, תימה, בין לרב הונא בין לרב חיסדא, נאמנינו לבטראי, במיגו דיבאי פסלינו לקמאי בגזלנותה. So the Gemara says that Hune holds that זו בא בפני עצמה ומעידה, וזו בא בפני עצמה ומעידה. Each one can testify by itself. Meaning they are equal on their reliability status. Trustworthiness. They are equal. Tosfot says they are not equal. Lama? Because the second one could have said, when they testified that the Malveh was with us, they could have said, no, the Edim are Gazlanim.
The Edim are Gazlanim?
Yeah, that's what I think. Very clear. Let me say it clear. ככה לא למדת את זה ככה?
No, that the Malva is the Gazlanim.
Kamai is the first one, the Edim.
The Edim are Gazlanim. הוא למד ממך. The Edim. So, just to make it clear, the entrance of Tosfot, so says this first, if you have, we have two Edim, and we have two Edim. One the first Kat Edim Aleph testified that Reuven borrowed money from Shimon, Bignof Kemine, and Kat Edim 2 testified that Lovev were with us. So Reuven were with us, so he never borrowed money from Shimon. They borrowed money from Shimon. So the Gemara says, since two of them testify on the same thing, one said that Reuven borrowed money, the other one said Reuven were with us, so he didn't borrow any money. So therefore, they are equal, the trustworthiness are equal. Shoel Tosfot, but the second cut had an option to
the enemigo.
The enemigo. They could have said that, testified on the first two Edim, you are Gazlanim, you were stealing money. And through that means that we have a migo to make the second cut better than the first cut. That's a simple question of Tosfot. Basic question, and I got it from the Ramban. The Ramban asked Tosfot question on the Gemara at the beginning. When we said at the beginning, Zomer Shel Avotai. No, he asked a question of Tosfot on the Gemara at the beginning. The Ramban. When we say זה אומר של אבותיי וזה אומר של אבותיי, הייתי שדדה אבותו ואכלה שני חזוקה, והייתי שדדה אכלה שני חזוקה, וכי אכילה לבעדי אכילה וגרה בחזקת אבותיי. On that the Ramban asked, 1 second, why don't you believe the second pair more than the first pair? למה? The second pair could have told the first pair, you are Gazlanim. So the same question that Tosfot asked on Rav Huna and Rav Chisda, Ramban asked on the Gemara, which that's a basic one. Huh?
What does it mean, Gazlanim? Zomemim?
No, Gazlanim.
Gazlanim means the Zomemim.
לא, זוממים זה עמנו הייתם.
But if you're Gazlan, it means you're Zomem.
לא. גזלן זה פסול של נאמנות.
אבל זה נגיד הרמב"ן...
זומם, לא היית שם בכלל, עמנו הייתם.
לא, that's
לא על הסיפור הזה. גזלנים סתם,
סתם, כן, זה מה שאומר. Okay, I emphasize. The migo of the Tosfot is, they could have testified, instead of testifying that Reuven was with us, just going back, instead of testifying that Reuven were with us, they will testify you, the Edim, in 2 weeks ago were stealing money from certain guy. That's the question of Tosfot. So question number 1, why the question is over here, not on the Gemara earlier? As the Rabban clearly asked our question on the Gemara earlier, when we said in the Gemara that according to Rav they are not believed. According to Rav Nachman, they are believed. He asked Rav Nachman why they are believed. They have, second one has a migo they could have posel the first cut, and therefore the first one will not be believed. The second one we have more
By saying they're
credibility.
stealers?
Second Edom have a problem with their chazak.
So, but he said the second edim can just take down bichlal the first edim.
Completely,
Yeah,
completely.
completely.
By
By saying-
saying,
So
by saying what?
By saying you are gazlanim,
Stam Gazlanim.
right?
Fine.
So believe them on the chazakah. They could have said they are gazlanim. So very interesting. See the Ramban Be'ez Hashem tomorrow. The Ramban seems that the question goes on the more earlier,
So
and all of the Rishonim says the Gemara goes on our Gemara, on here Ravuna and Rav Chizde. What's the difference in the Ramban the way he can ask the question already earlier in the Gemara versus all of the Rishonim? Bechlal, it's not a question to begin with. Weiter.
How did you explain that in the beginning of the Gemara is they're talking any gazlanut there?
They
I
could
don't
have said, they have a migo, they could have said the first one are Gazlanim.
No, there's Stam Gazlanim.
Zima gazlanut?
No.
Or the guys are
No,
gazlanut?
No,
the
no,
Edim are
Shlomi,
Gazlanim, same as
Shlomi,
over
Stam
here.
Gazlanim. Like there's Stam Gazlanim. They stole from somewhere else.
יש לו חזקה, יש לה אבותיו,
Yeah, they could have said they are Gazlanim.
אבל מה הם גוזלים?
ופעם ראו אותם גוזלים, 2 weeks ago.
You could say that with all the other עדויות.
That's what we
We
said.
need 2 Edim, 2 Edim.
Can you say that when you're an Ed Yomem, you're a gazlan as well? Because when you're being a false testimony, you're trying to get something out of the other guy.
Let's go weiter. Okay. Now, Tosfos umiu. By the way, second question, Rabbi Omar asked the question, and also Igal asked the
first one too.
question. Ah?
Yes, the first one too.
He has the first one too, yeah? That's Choshu.
Now we know clear up.
Second question also. Now you know why it's my favorite, right? They
Oh,
asked
he-
me, Rabbi,
he doesn't
they
know.
asked me the question and answer on Thursday. Who's your favorite rabbi? I said he's not here. Huh? No. I know. You weren't
He's
here.
like, oh, Leon.
Yeah,
That was actually
yeah.
funny.
You know I'm going to say that, so you didn't come, you know. Okay, so the second question, Rabbi Omar asked, in every migo of Akosha, they should have believed the migo shel hazama. That was the question? So, in every case of every Akosha, there is no concept of edim uchashim to begin with. Because Tosfos asked, okay, let's go to the question. Umiu b'migo diba yehavu mazmileu lekeleem ninu. דיראים להזימן, פן יוזמו גם הם. Second part of Tosfos.
In Gazlonis, there's a
Yeah, Gazlones, let me explain that and then we can ask the question. So second part of Tosfos, by the way, my question is, huh?
You're also going to explain what the came is according to both of them?
Okay, come on again, now. So Tosfos said, my question is only begazlanuta. But behazama, I have no question. Why? They are afraid lehazim otam. So why they are afraid lehazim otam?
שלא יזימו אותם.
Huh?
שלא יזימו אותם.
Also here they can be mazim them. If they're going to say you were gazlanim, you stole on 2 weeks ago,
Be afraid.
they could have said, no, you were with us 2 weeks ago. So that's not, I saw some bring it, but that's not there. So the Chasam Sofer brings excellent pshat. What's the azama over here?
Can you explain the question?
The question of Tosfot said, let's have a migo, they could have been mazim them. That was the question of Tosfot.
That could have been their amigo.
Right, they're
Instead
not
of
going
migo
to-
the gazlanim, the migo would have been, יכולים להזים אותם. They could say,
The
you
edim,
were with us, the edim.
the edim say
So
you
the
guys-
second cut could have said the first cut, you were with us somewhere else,
Okay.
right?
And the first set would
So
become.
that was the
Zomer.
question of Tosfot. And Tosfot answered, no, they are afraid to say that.
Right.
Why?
They're risking
So the
themselves.
Chatam Sofer, what's the risk over here? In order for them, so what's the case? Just remember, the case is we have the first cut says that Reuven and Shimon borrow money, and the second cut says that Reuven were with us. So in order for them to be mazim, the first cut, what do they need to say? That on that specific day and time that you testified that Reuven borrowed money from Shimon, you were with us. This is very sensitive.
edim.
Let me say, yeah, this is very sensitive, very specific time. So very limited time. If they on that moment, let's say, they were in shul and somebody saw them, they stuck. But to testify gazlanuta, they're not limited to a day and a time. Because they could say, look, 2 weeks ago, let's say they were in their office in Utah, so nobody can say Manu item. So they can say, okay, this 2 weeks ago when we were in Utah, now we're going to say we saw you stealing money. On that, nobody can be mazim them. So therefore, it says to us, for a migo of gazlanut, it's an open migo that's easy to say. Migo, it like I could have said something better. So migo, if they think Reuven were with us, they can say even that you were stealing on a different time. But Hazama, 10 years ago.
Hazama is limited.
Which is dark at this specific time, they don't want to say.
You're still, when you're saying that when you're doing the azama and the gazlanut, there's still azama here. You're not taking anything out.
As a migo, it's not Hazama. In migo, I could have been mazim. You need to say only on that day specific event. In order to take out the loan, you need to be mazim that day specific event.
On the azama one?
On the azama. Azama meaning you were with us on the time of you said that you borrowed the money.
And same thing of gazlanut.
Okay, you can say no, they are gazlanim. You can pick any time on the recent 20
any time
years.
that they were
You don't have
gazlanut.
to be
Yes.
specific.
And then, now, the Porat Yosef first asked a very interesting question. We have klal that what azama? What we said azama? Chidushu. Chidushu.
Or
He says, how can you learn from a chidush?
what does that mean?
Like you learn what?
Azama, it's a chidush.
So.
נכון?
מיגו מחידוש.
Migo on a chidush, how can you say בכלל?
Why?
The old concept of azama, it's a
What does that mean,
chidush.
chidush?
Huh?
What's chidush mean?
Meaning, logically they shouldn't be muzam. The Torah gave you a special allowance by azama, a special chidush that the second kan will be believed over the first kan.
Migo's logic.
Huh?
He was logic. It's
It's different. It's different. It's still the migu. What is their logic?
he
What
could have
they
won.
think and what they would have still done. It's not like you're working with the hazam. You're working with the migu.
No, so you're right, but the way you understood, if migo by the end of the day, Chazaku Baruch, if migo by the end of the day, it's a claim, I would have better koyach, when this better koyach it's all chidush to begin with, you cannot use it as a leverage.
Why not?
No, you could.
Point is unbelievable.
Huh?
What do you mean? The point is you're
The point is
believable.
they had that leverage.
The point is I could have won
I could've
saying
won.
that.
That's the point. Who cares how?
Doesn't matter
The point is
how.
the Torah gave me that koyach to
You're
win.
right on the logic, see it inside, we'll see it tomorrow. But here's the explanation on it. But that's his question. Weiter. Tosfot try to answer, ונראה לי, דמיגו במוקום עדים לא אמרינן. A. B. Either we learn ועוד or we don't learn ועוד. Let's play with it. דמיגו לא יוכל לסיים יותר משני עדים.
Where's the מקום עדים?
ואפילו, one second, אפילו היו עמהם 100 עדים, אין נאמנים, בתרי כ100. So there are two ways to understand Tosfot. So what does Tosfot say? Tosfot says it's migo b'mkom edim, and Tosfot said there is no way to make edim to be more believed than edim, because edim is the highest level of ne'emanut. And even if you have 100 edim against 2 edim, it doesn't make the edim stronger because more people supporting him. So as much as a support you're going to give to the edim, they still remain the status of edim. Or 2 edim. So if you think about it,
You
the
have
words,
chidush.
huh?
But you have
So the
chidush
word
that makes
migo
it more-
b'mkom edim, how do you understand? So the first said 2 portions. The migo b'mkom edim lo amrinan. And why? Because you cannot make the edim to be more trustworthy than who they are, because they are the max of ne'emanut.
That's if you're not Gores.
Right. Now, Maharsho said, when we must be gores ve'od, which means
Not
that
Not
it-
girls.
not gores, which means that it's not migo b'makom edim. Be'emet, you don't go against edim according to the Maharsho, and therefore you need the logic of edim cannot be better than edim. That's what the Maharsho learns.
How'd you
It's
understand?
an explanation. The second answer is
Right. The second explanation why you don't say migo against edim.
It's explanation for
Because edim cannot be stronger than edim for who they are.
Oh, so you're
So you
just trying to
cannot say
explain the
migo
logic of it?
b'mok.
Why,
Yeah, just explaining according to Maharsho, we just explaining the logic of it.
What does the Marsha take out? Just ba'oid or he took out
Just the
whole
word
line?
vod.
So why is that?
So it's explaining why it's migo b'mokom edim over here.
It's depending on what?
Why it's a migo
It's
b'mokom
not no
edim.
answer.
Because
According to him.
you migo makes you into a better ed. If you ed, by the end of the day, there is no way to be a better ed. Ed is a maximum level. So therefore, the problem according to the Maharsha would be it's not migo b'mokom edim. The words of Tosfot doesn't fit. It's not migo b'mokom edim. Migo b'mokom edim, we know what's migo b'mokom edim. It's migo against edim. You're not because migo against edim.
When two regular people, one has a demon, one has migo. They don't
Right,
have it.
exactly. But
Once it's
here,
clean, this is
here,
testimony.
you have no migo to begin with. The way Tosfot explained, you have no migo to begin with. So it's not really migo b'mokom edim. So why Tosfot, the way the Maharsha learns, what Tosfot use the terminology of migo b'mokom edim, which is not b'chlal, of migo b'mokom edim. That's according to the Maharsha.
Meaning his explanation is showing that it's not that you don't see Miga B'Makamadim.
Right?
It's B'Makamadim, but it doesn't matter even, it's still they don't work.
We do.
Because
So our question is why did he go out the road?
Yeah, meaning why what's the connection? Now the Rashbo clearly learned that it's two separate answers. Number one is migo b'mokom edim. Number two, edim cannot be trustworthy more than who they are. But the shaila, according to the Maharsha, would be how to explain why it's considered migo b'mokom edim.
Yasha.
No, Rashbo. Yeah, the
but
Rashbo
we're
learns it's
asking-
two separate answers. So he learned that he's migo b'mokom edim. So don't give me answers. I just want to bring the question because it will be a dialogue. The shaila is migo b'mokom edim, meaning I cannot say the simple pshat migo b'mokom edim against edim. Here my migo are made on the edim themselves. If I'm made on the edim themselves, why it's considered migo b'mokom edim? I'm here to be posel the edim, not to go against the edim. That's a simple pshat kasha on the Rashba. Now, the real kasha is, who is the people over here who hold it?
Who's the what?
Where are the players? We have Rav Nachman.
Rabbi.
We have Rav Nachman, Rove, and Rav Chizda. Now, Rav Chizda hold, they're not going to, Da'adi desad shakri, lama li. The Gemara says later on, Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis, this is not my question. This question, what was the question? I saw it, all the Rishonim brings it, and Raza the Shabsai brings, the Rishonim brings it. The Achorani brings this question. He says, we asking, that they are not trustworthy, and the reason is because it's Migo b'mokom edim. According to Rav Chizde, I do say migo b'mokom edim.
He says malo l'shaker.
Right, so according to Rav Chizde, we say migo b'mokom edim. Number one. According to Rav Nachman, who holds like Ravune, we also saying according to him migo b'mokom edim. Nachon, remember last case. Rav Nachman's was it Hachano?
No.
Oh, it was Rabba.
Rava.
So, taking my words back. So the question will be only according to Rav Chizde. Rav Chizde who hold they cannot be testified. Ba'ad disadi shakre lamali. The kasha would remain of Teisves. Why come the second man is not going to be believed by Migo? Teisves answer it is Migo b'mokom edim. According to Rav Chizde, we say Migo b'mokom edim. And if so, לפי התירוץ הזה, how come according to Rav Chizde the second cat בכלל not believed? This is a blunt question.
Why is this so different from Krista? Krista doesn't
Rav
hold it?
Chizde said here that they're not believe בכלל, שניהם. But Rav Chizde he said מיגו במקום edim.
You said he holds
He does hold, Lam Gimel Amud Beis.
Ah.
So if Rav Chizde hold that we say מיגו במקום
It's an
edim,
answer for him.
that's the
it's not
second
an answer
answer.
for him. Huh?
That's the second answer.
This answer doesn't make it.
Are you going to use the second answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this answer cannot be answered the problem that this was telling.
I mean, the first answer, but meaning that's really the difference between answer one and
but-
two.
So
One's
according to
Miga
the
B'Makamadim, one.
Maharsha, according to the Maharsha, it's not a problem. Because according to the Maharsha,
But Yosef
No, it is a problem.
He said
No,
migo.
Marshall.
He says,
Yeah.
according to the
According to the Marsha,
Moshe is not a problem. It's
one
one.
answer, Migav Makamedim
It's
Lamri.
not really Mokum
One
Mokamedim.
tears everything.
According to the Rashba, for sure it's a problem.
אבל he says here, it
Because it
says,
doesn't explain what it means.
לרב חיסדא, מה לי לשקר במה קומדין לא אמרינן, ל"ג עמוד ב'. לא אמרינן.
לא, זה מחלוקת רב חיסדא ורב ורבאי.
נכון,
רוב
ניסיין
האמרים
רב
אומרים,
חיסדא.
מיגו מקום עדים לא אמרינן, רב חיסדא אומר, מיגו מקום עדים לא
לא
אמרינן.
סבירה לו הד הרב חיסדא, because they
רבא
hold,
doesn't סביר.
they hold that we don't say, but he hold that we say.
So you're saying that Rava holds that Rav
don't
Chisda
say.
doesn't hold.
He holds, Rav Chiza hold, we say Migo Mokamedim.
It's very different.
So, but the,
And if so, why here we don't say that?
Robin, in that case he holds, but in this case he doesn't. Saying Rabbi Chisda holds in a different case.
No, but if you hold say Migo, what's the problem?
Fine.
When Rav Chisda says
Okay.
Mami the Shaker,
Huh? Malshak is Migo, yeah. Okay. Look on the Gemara tomorrow to see the opinion. That's the key for the answer.
Sure.
The next part, the last part of Teisvis, ועוד אומרי, the last answer, the לא שייך מיגו,
זה בכלל פצצה.
the לא שייך מיגו, אלא באדם אחד. אבל בשניים לא שייך מיגו. דאין דעת שניהם שווה. ומה שירצה זה לטעון, לא יטעון זה. So he hold that Migo was saying by two people. Simple pshat. One person, I could have a better life, believe in what I said. Two people, in order to have a better life, gotta be planned. So you could have planned something better, you don't say Migo like that. Simple. Migo by Adam Echad, I could have said something better. What you could have said, it's a Migo. What I could have planned with him to say, it's not a Migo. That's the pshat of Ri. Migo al ben Adam עצמו, what I could have said,
that's a Migo.
logic. But what we could have planned, both of us, to say, we don't say Migo. That's a pshat, simple pshat of Ri.
You're saying the Migo separates them as a group.
Right.
So lefi Ri mashma,
Is that what it's saying?
Migo, to plan something, we don't say. Migo, I could have said, we
I know
say.
if they try and use the Migo, it would separate them because this guy doesn't think like that guy. Now it's one versus.
No. They could have said Migo, but that needs to be planned together. Anything that requires planning together, it's not a Migo. So, according to Ri, אין לך בעיה של מיגו במקום עדים. נכון?
Because there's no migo to begin with.
So, according to Ri, Milo, meaning, I could have said the migo over here. The only reason I don't say migo because it's two people. Mashma, the migo במקום עדים, we say, how can you say migo במקום עדים?
There's one person versus.
How would Ri deal with the issue of migo במקום עדים? When you approach it as a technical problem. Well, we'll not talk about לא בתשובות. There is another big problem over here.
So if the Re holds it's Migo Makomedim, what's the question? If the Re holds it, it's Migo Makomedim?
Meaning, he said we do say migo makomedim. Why? How can we say migo makomedim? He has a technical issue why they're not believed. But the fact that makomedim is not a problem.
How do we say that he
No.
sees migo makomedim?
Huh?
How do we say that the re?
Because the only problem is a technical issue for two people. Without that, so we thought if there would have been one migo or one person, it would be believed.
That's not makomedim.
No, so the shaila, his only issue is the technical problem that migo cannot be said because you are together.
But when we
But
say
if-
one person is Shem Idus,
No, he's just saying that what you could have planned works by one person, not by two.
Yeah, but it clearly
By the end of the day, two people, but if you could have planned two together, you would have said migo. He has no issue with migo mokomedim. It's technically a different issue. So if so, how would you address the issue in this migo mokomedim?
it doesn't seem like the Re is arguing.
ברשותך לא נענה, בסדר? I just want to cover, I have so much. Another question the butter is, what's migo is doing over here? Is migo mokomedim? We know about different question. We have a rule that migo lehotzi lo amrinan. All of the migo in the shas, the migo lehachzik.
What does this mean?
Believe me that I don't owe money. That's amigo. But to say amigo, believe me, because of amigo, to take money out of somebody, we don't say such amigo.
According to everyone?
Yeah, that's a general. Amigo lo itzi lo amri. That's a general rule in amigo.
Oh, then that answers
So
a bunch of questions.
Here, we are motzi them from chizkat kashrut. They were kasher. they are currently kasher. Because of the migo, you want to take them out from the chazaka. Migo לא יצא לאמרינן, how can you say migo?
No, you keep one.
So
לא, אתה מקיים, you
לא,
keep one
you
in
take them out
his
from the chazaka
chazaka.
of kashrut. That's the question.
They're anyway out of the
You
taking
take
out of
them out.
chazak of
Huh?
kashrut. They're anyway out of it. They're anyway out of the chazak of kashrut.
No.
Why? Because it's muchash?
No, they ספק, so they still have חזקה.
According
מספק
to-
מוקמינן לחזקה
According
היו.
to Ravuna.
According to Ravuna.
According to
The question is
Ravuna,
according
and
to
the
Ravuna.
question is according to everyone.
No, he's asking according to Ravuna.
Migo hooks on my mom.
Yeah, but the concept is to take out something you don't say. You're taking it off of the chazaka of kashrus.
Usually
It should be the same. It should be the same. You go lo yitzi la'amrinan. Okay, last question. That forgive me if I'm not answering. I'm giving time for answers. The last question is the migo over here. It's way different than other migo. Lama. We have two people who are safek. The migo over here is מכריע את הספק. נכון?
Explanation. Explanation.
Explanation. Migo over here just telling you that you safek, this side is more trustworthy than the other one. Meaning,
No more
we
trustworthy.
saying we don't say migo במוקו מיידים. נכון? But this is not בכלל מיגו במוקו מיידים to begin with. כי מיגו במוקו מיידים, we betting against reality. Here, we're not betting against reality. We're not sure what's going on. So the migo will telling you, oh, by the way, this is that you are not sure. Yeah, you can be sure. So why come you telling the migo במוקו מיידים לא אמרינן? The reason we don't say migo במוקו מיידים, we don't go against reality. But here, the migo is not to create reality. It's to be מברר את הספק. You have a ספק if you're kasher or not. So migo will come לברר ספק, they are kasher. So how come you don't say the migo over here? אם אתה אומר דביזים מיגו במקום הייתם לא אמרינן, מיגו במקום לא אמרינן because you are מוציא the edim already established reality. But here we don't have edim, it's too ספק over here. מיגו להכריע את הספק that one of them is more than the other one we can say.
So it's
Huh?
still going against the Edim at the end. It doesn't
The
matter.
reason I don't say מיגו במקום, מה זה logic I don't say מיגו במקום? למה? Why I don't say מיגו במקום הייתם? Because the edim
They're
are,
stronger and they're saying
you have a reality. But here you don't have reality. Because you have two ספקות. זו באה בפני עצמה, the both of them ספק, נכון? If both of them ספק, the migo is just מכריע את הספק. You're not going against the edim. That's a question.
It's lowering the suffix.
Yeah, just lowering the safek. That's, yeah, exactly.
Something
Let's do
is
the
more
Rashbo
reliable.
quick. It's possible quick. Rashbo, everybody saw the Rashbo inside? Yeah? Okay, so let me just address it outside a little bit faster. The Rashbo first question, I'll read it inside to save the extra misunderstanding.
You want to the paper, Rabbi?
Huh? נעים תוימר, נעים סמך בין לרוב ובין לרב נחמן, אז דרש בו מפני מה אין מאמינים את האחרונים, מיגו דיבר פסלו בגזלנותה, אינמי דמז מילאו. So the question of the Rashba is, he combined the two questions of Tosfos.
Yeah.
So his answers are going on
That's what?
the two questions.
This combines two questions to say that.
Yeah, no, Tosfot.
Migo b'gazlanuta also.
No, so according to Tosfot, the only Tosfot question is on Gazlanuta,
Oh, okay.
but on Hazama, Tosfot says it's not a question because they are afraid. He doesn't learn like Tosfot, they are afraid on Hazama. נכון? He bring it part of the question of Gazlanuta. The question is, what's the logic? How can you compare Migo of Gazlanuta to Migo of Hazama when the logic of Tosfot works? Migo and Hazama, they're much more afraid to say than Migo of Gazlanuta. How come, according to the Rashba, both of them have the same weight and the same status of a Migo? That's the opening question of the
How
Rashba.
can you compare it? Sorry, one more time.
How can you compare Gazlanuta and Hazama? So both they should have a migo, and both of them sound the same. For Hazama, it's not a migo to begin with. They're afraid to say.
They're not the same.
The logic of migo is, I could have said something better. We know that Hazama is not better. The Rashbot treat it as better. how can the Rashba treat Migo of Azama as better when in reality it's not better? So it's not the same level as the. Next, first answer of Rashbo is יש לומר, דעדים לא מאמני במיגו, תפי ממעידה מהמנה מתורת עדותן בחיי גבנה. So they cannot be believe on מיגו more than the עדות, ולא אמרו בעדים שאמנים במיגו, אלא לסלק מהם נגיעת עדות וכיוצא בזה. אבל בזה לא. So he's saying that מיגו, we don't tell עדים. עדים, it's only סילוק נגיעות. Meaning, if I have חשד that are נוגע בעדות, so I can prove that are not נוגע בעדות, they are not biased because of a מיגו.
What's a case?
So case הנוגע בעדות, I prefer not to say it, okay? It will be too much. So by נוגע בעדות they believe, if they're not נוגע בעדות, they not believe. Why? If they're not נוגע, why they not believe? למה לא? לסלק נגיעות, נאמנות זה לא נאמנים. Any מיגו that works on a regular בעל דין, is that לסלק נאמנות או להאמין?
להאמין.
להאמין. Why would, I mean, יש חילוק ויש מחלק. No, you learn this, you have חילוק, okay, you have distinction. But is this חילוק מחלק? Do you really create a real difference?
Yeah.
So you're right, you found a difference. You're making a חילוק. That להאמין אותם לא, you're not going to say מיגו, but for נגיעה בעדות, you will say a מיגו. What's the difference? מיגו in general works for נאמנות. What's the source of the rush? בו לחלק between the נאמנות, מיגו is not going to work for עדים, but לסלק נגיעת עדות is going to work. Where is the rush picking it up from? When we see clearly the מיגו works for נאמנות.
No, any last one, I didn't get it.
That was a question. You came up with an answer, Shlomo. Someone give an answer to that question.
Why Rashbam hold that migo cannot be worked for ne'emanut for redim and only to take away being biased in the edut, when we know migo works to give ne'emanut? It doesn't give any logic. He said a chiluk without any svara.
Is that
Remember I
the
was
case
asking
what we
what's the
said?
difference, and you were like,
That was the case that we said? Okay.
We're saying it
No,
better
'cause
than
you
I
ex-
said.
you
Okay,
explained
don't
it
worry. I'll
much
go back. I'll
different.
go back. Towards again.
Explained it different.
Third answer. Second answer, it's fine. No, actually, it's not fine. ועוד, התורה, this is the second answer, it's unbelievable. I think he makes up his own stuff. ועוד, למה נאמין מתורת עדות עדים אלו יותר מאלו? Why we believe from דין of עדים this cut more than the other one? You give a sentence here, no cover. והתורה לא האמינה עדים יותר מעדים אחרים משום מיגו. The Torah never believed the דין more than other עדים because of מיגו. מי אמר לך את זה?
logic.
והתורה לא האמינה more עדים than other עדים because of מיגו. Who told you that?
Look, it's the only time you do this by
Me'edim,
Azama.
dummy.
Any other case you don't.
Me'edim.
The only time
The
you
Torah talks about הזמה.
No, but he's saying like the Migo is only as strong as witnesses.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You have the Torah says we don't.
How do you know that
witnesses
התורה לא
are
האמינה
witnesses.
עדים יותר מעדים? How do you know?
Because you ran with 2 and 100 are the same.
לא, יותר מעדים אחרים. I can understand two. If you want to tell me that the כוח of the עדים, give me the answer of the Rashba.
That's what Tosfot says.
Tosfot.
It's
No,
not gonna
but
be
he's saying
לציית אותם.
התורה לא האמינה אחד יותר מהשני. He coming with a premise that one עדות cannot be believed more than the other עדות. That's the only thing he's saying. My עדות will not be trustworthy more than your עדות.
With amigo.
With Amigo. How do you know it? Where do you
Because
have
of
a proof?
Amigo.
Why do you have a proof in the Torah?
Versus 2 is equal. You can't make more equal than you. 2 is already the highest.
I
level.
can understand that more redim will not help you because
It's the highest level.
Trei
Once you get
kemea.
2, you're the highest level.
Trei kemea, the Gemara says, but become a trei kemea. 2 is like 100.
It's the
Okay.
same logic. Once you get 2, you're the highest
Yeah,
level.
but that's a special chidush, a trei kemea that we're learning from psukim over there.
That's what he's saying.
Exactly.
Torah Amar. That's
But
what the
trei
Torah says.
kemea, it's a chidush that every redim considers.
We know once you
No,
get
let me
2, you're the
finish.
highest
When
level.
you have more redim, it's not going to give you any benefit. But
We
we have
have
bingo,
better- we
maybe
have
you're going to
better
get
עדות.
benefit.
You have better
We
עדות
know
from
that
with
2
amigo.
is the best.
Yeah, it's a better edut. It's not more redim. it's more
There's
more
no
the
two-
same. It's
more
not the
information.
same.
Once
Doesn't
you hit two,
exist
you hit
better
the highest point
edut.
you can get. You can't get better than
Edut is
two.
edut.
In
No
terms of
better or
edut,
worse
but in
edut.
terms of amigo, you can.
If you have
Truth
a
and
dude,
night.
Okay,
if you
that's
have
the
a dude equal to
fine.
the other edim, but
The
there's
last-
an amigo with it, it's giving
the
you
last
more
question,
of a
the last
leverage
question.
over those edim.
אני עובר פה
Torah
כמעט
says
4
that
סיפור,
100 is not better than 2.
But
Then
look at
how
that,
is
we're not
it?
talking
The last
about
answer.
quality
Because then
of
it shuts us down.
מה אתה אומר?
Let's not do that, because then it limits
Okay,
us so
let's
much.
say-
We're testifying the same thing. The opposite,
השאלה?
we're debating, but I have amigo.
No,
אחר כך אפשר לדבר על זה אחר כך, מחר יש סדר שלם.
Therefore,
לא, זה
believe
לא
it more
ייגמר.
than...
אחי,
השאלות זה כסף.
הנה, עמי, last answer of תוספות. רבי say, I don't mind, let's discuss it after shiur, I just want to be over in מלכיסי. הנה, עמי, אין אומרים מיגו בעדות של שניים. The last answer of רשב"ם, we don't say מיגו בעדות of two, למה? דדילמה, בטענה זו ישבו שניהם. On this טענה, they had the same mind, אבל מי יימר, וישבו בטענה אחרת. Who's going to tell you that something else to claim, they're going to come to the same realization? It's similar to Re in a way.
What do you say?
He said that although they came to an agreement to have this Tana, meaning they're saying that you, Reuven, were with us, but who would tell you that on the mind they're going to come, both of them going to think the same as the migo that should be.
Oh, okay. That's
Similar to
the
Re.
reason.
Similar to Re. So look the Raya that he brings. Says the Rashba, what's the Raya? The Kashi, no, the Kashi. ועד אמרין לפרק האישה שנתרמלה, כשאין כתב ידן יוצא ממקום אחר נאמנים. The story over there, העדים שהעידו, there is a star, and the העדים says, yeah, this is our star, כתב ידנו, אבל אנוסים היינו, קטנים היינו, פסולי עדות היינו, נאמנים. So the Gemara says in Ksubes, as long as כתב ידם, it's not being proved ממקום אחר, as long as they are the only one who makes the star kasher, we have הפה שאסר, הפה שהתיר. The one who said that we were writing it, they said, oh, we were, let's say, קטנים או אנוסים. So said רשב"ם, שאין כתב, בעד אמרים, פרק האישה שנתרמלה, כשאין כתב ידם יוצא ממקום אחר, if the כתב ידם is not going elsewhere, so they are the only one who proves that they are the עדים. נאמנים, why they are believed? מיגו, דיבאו אמרי, אין זה כתב ידינו. They could have said, this is not our כתב יד. They will be believed, this is a migo that, to believe that they were liars. You see that we are saying migo by
Can you explain this?
edim. The
Just that
reason
last
they
part.
are believed is only because they said we sign it, they are the one who validate their signatures, and they are the one who said we were psulim and anusim. They could have said we didn't write it bechlal. So therefore you're going to leave it that they are the one who signed with the observation that they were anusim or ktanim. So you have a migo over here. Stam, if you say two, you can't believe. So you see that you said migo on two people. That's what just says. By two people, we don't say migo. So how come over there we say migo by two people?
Because they were not edim.
Answer Tosfos, shani yacha. Shama ze edim.
But
They
they're
are testifying
psulim.
on the signature.
They're psulim.
Yeah, but the
So
migo
when
makes
they-
them... בסדר? שייני יחה, יודע שהבנת, אני מרשה לעצמי. שייני יחה, לפעמים אפילו גם בלי. שייני יחה, דאפילו אמר חד מיניו. Even one of them said, אין זה כתב ידי, it's not my handwriting. נפסיל שטרה, will be פסול. So he said over there it's different, because if one of them could have said the migo by himself. If one of them would say, this is not my shtar, it can ruin the shtar. So that means that this migo could have saved one person. Why we are saying that two people cannot say a migo, when if they're only through those two you can establish their reality. Like by our case, they said you borrowed money, then those two cannot think different together. But in the case of a shtar, each one of them can make it or break it. Because if one of them said it's not mine, then you have no signature, you have no shtar. So since one of them could have said it, therefore we have a migo.
What's
That's
the
the
shtar
center
on?
Rashba?
What's the shtar on?
Shtar, oh no, borrow money.
Did he
Any
borrow
shtar.
money?
No,
Or
no, no, no,
someone
no.
else?
Somebody else. They have the edim on the shtar. So again, so why by edim on the shtar we do say migo? Because one of them could have said the migo. One of them could have said, I never wrote it. Since one of them had the ability to break the shtar, we treat it as two individuals. On an individual, we do say migo. That's how I understand the Rashbam. I might be wrong. So if you think I'm wrong, correct me. But based on my understanding, I have the following question. You're right that by the end of the day, one of them could have break the shtar. But בסופו של יום, this migo was said by two people together.
Yeah.
The all answer of Rashbo, that two people will not get to that conclusion. Here you have two people who got to that conclusion. You're right, one of them could have break the shtar, but it doesn't change the reality. There are two people who would have think different. Follow me?
Can I say a question on
And if
migo?
so, as a finish of question, if so, how come you can't, they're not believe? We have a migo by two people that would have said different. You're right, one of them could have knocked it down. But those two people could have said migo. Last line, and then what's the question? Ramban, just the last piece. Ramban.
Are we supposed to learn that one?
כדאי, לא?
Everything today?
כן. The Ramban, so I want to already address why he asked question on Rav Nachman, not like all of the Rishonim who asked the question on our case. That's kind of Ramban. And the
Wait,
last
what?
one is,
Oh, the first question we asked him with him?
yeah, the first question, yeah.
Oh.
Now, last question, please listen, Bovekame, עמוד ב' with the סוגיה that עד זומם חידושו, he has the following question. Why עד זומם חידושו?
In Sanhedrin it was?
If you want to know, yeah. Same. So why עד זומם is a חידוש? עד זומם should be believed with a migo. What's a migo? I could have said, you were gazlanim. Now, and it's, and it's not migo במקום עדים.
I'm trying to understand, but...
עד זומם, מה הוא אומר? You were with us somewhere else. So who are the testifying on? On the עדים, נכון? It's not migo במקום עדים.
Edim on Edim.
Because they're not Edim anymore?
Yeah, they just testify you are bad people because you were with us.
So it's Edim on Edim. It's Edim on Edim.
Right. But
Okay.
it's not migo במקום עדים. Our case is migo במקום עדים, למה? They said he borrowed money and the other one says no, you were with us. So migo again, it's again him showing. But any case of azama, it's not במקום עדים, I'm מעיד on the עדים. If מעיד of two people ate trade, I'm not migo במקום עדים. נכון? So if so he asked, the two people were with us, it's not migo במקום עדים.
No,
If so,
if
every
the
case-
amigo was coming from the other side, not from the Edim side, then that would be migo b'makom Edim.
התבלבלתי.
Every Hazam was really like that.
Every azama made on the
It
עדים.
never happened, and then there you can say they never give Adis on that guy.
Right. So
Therefore, you
if
can
every
never give them up. That's the
azama,
whole logic that you're making a Luyud Sur as if it happened. Their Adis is a real Adis, even though it's not an Adis. Because if I say you two are a Zayman, you two never gave Adis.
יפה.
So maybe you could say you
So you
never...
made on them.
What?
Therefore, you are made on the Edim, you're not made on the Adut. So you are testifying on the Edim themselves.
Right.
Since you testify on the Edim themselves, you can have amigo, you could have testified that they are Gazlanim. So you should be believed that they are Zomemim. With amigo, you could have said they are Gazlanim, and it's not amigo במקום עדים.
So it's not a חידוש?
Why don't we say that amigo? Huh?
So that's to say that Jews is not a חידוש?
No,
Rabbeinu,
Yeah, it's not a חידוש anymore.
Rabbi,
You could have said amigo.
Rabbi, before we get to can you explain us the question?
the whole concept of Zama never works ever.
Concept of what?
Zama never ever works.
Why?
Zama is based